Hi, welcome to another How to JoW. We've gone through the nuances of booking our first monthly show, and right on the heels of that, we are going to move on to booking the first weekly show. So let's just continue for where we left off last time. Wrestling World Cup after that first show. The first thing you'll notice after you finish your weekly show, you get what you look it's like a talent offer from another company. They, Great Lake Wrestling Federation, want to snipe away your team, the Compton Cannonballs. Let's take a look at this team before we decide if we're going to take it or leave it. You can go to talent offer. There we got Bobby J and Mr. Baseman. They're currently in our training roster, so they haven't even been called up yet. So you'll see there's no wins, no losses, nothing in their stats. Here's what they have for traits, and here's their work rate and their charisma combined. They have some future potential, but right now they're not of much use to you. And maybe we can just benefit from the extra creative points that Send in an Off will get. So let's accept that offer. Say bye-bye, Bobby. So long, Mr. Baseman. And now we see Jason Carter has also been offered from Joshi Pro, which is an all-women's company. So just for immersion, I'm going to decline that one. Sorry, Jason, you're just too valuable. And now you'll see what you say, talent requests. The talent in periodically will ask us to do things for them so that they can improve their mood. And it makes them happy, and usually it doesn't cost you much. Like this, for example, Randy Little wants a new gimmick. Let's see what his current gimmick is. Not at all little. God, I'm so clever. So, yep, he's right now over us at 5%, so we could use a refreshing change. So let's say, okay, let's change your gimmick. So, yep, we can do that, and he'll be happy. And I should remember to actually do that. Meltdown from the team of the Nuclear Warlords wants a match with Black Belt Lee in a singles match. And again, that costs us nothing, so let's do that. You're welcome, Meltdown. Now we also see, after we've gotten past the requests and the offers, we go to the main dashboard for booking a weekly show. See, Eddie Whiskey is back from his injury. He should be more careful when he bicycles. I also noticed that there's another alert here from the good training session. So let's go into our emails and see what sort of messages we have. See, Jason Carter is not happy because I wouldn't let the Japanese women's wrestling company sign him. I think he might not have been a good fit for them. And I see that my talent manager has been randomly called Evil Little, which is an absolutely awesome name. And what was this? Good training. You got there. Martin Just was taken out by Sabre, our current world champion. Rather, our former world champion. So that's nice. And also in the Indies, we've got Haruna Fakumi is available now if we want to sign her. And as we said, Eddie is back. You'll also notice the goals for the year, which is in our email folder. And so far, we haven't met any of these requirements, but we'll touch on that in another video. And the part-timers we've talked about briefly. That's how many appearances they've agreed to this year. Appearances don't include them in segments or weekly shows, for example. So let's move on to the weekly show and see what we can do. Back to the dashboard, we got the reminder of these talent requests. No one injured, no one unavailable. We've dealt with these alerts. So the difference mostly between a weekly show and a monthly show I have discovered, this is all perfectly just opinions and not hardwired into the code. I find that when you book a weekly show, you're better off just using segments because matches, unless they're absolutely high hype and they're the best quality workers and a really hot feud, you're not going to get the same rating that a good segment is going to get. But just for argument's sake, you want to book a weekly match, you're welcome to do it. You'll notice here that this show WWC Conflict is specifically tied to the conflict brand, sorry. Go to other menu, history menu for other things as well, job menu. I'll touch on these menus again in the future. I was going to show you the brands right now. WWC has two brands, the conflict brand and the hostile brand. If you want to look on them, you'll see that this is who we have in the conflict brand, which is the show we're going to be booking today. Notice Black Belt Lee's in this one, and as well you see Meltdown, who wanted to have a match with him. So let's start there. For our main event today will be a singles match. We'll book match. And rather than having to scale through here, you can actually use this bar to search for the particular worker. Meltdown wants to fight against Black Belt Lee. Why, I do not know. There's Black Belt Lee, awesome fellow, very nice guy, not a good actor. We'll talk on traits in another game as well. Okay, so we've got the main event matches between those two. What else did we want to do in the workers' requests? Oh yes, Randy wanted to change his gimmick. So let's take a pause for a moment before we go back to booking the weekly show. And since we're here anyway, let's change Randy's gimmick. Let's look him up. There he is in the roster. Kill me. Okay, now we're going to go down here to change his gimmick. And the change gimmick screen, you can either choose one of the pre-made character and personality combinations, or you can create your own. There you go, Randy, a slightly differently worded gimmick of the same gimmick you already have. You're totally welcome. And back. Now, that won't actually debut as a gimmick until he's actually appeared on the program. So going back to the booking, let's see. I forget which brand he's on. Let's see if he's actually in the conflict brand before I go committing to such things. Nope. No brand. Oh, by the way, the person we signed up for this, first starting this game, Martin Just, we should assign him to a brand as well since we're here. So welcome to the conflict brand, Martin. Go down a bit to him. We can change his brand. The brand will be conflict. Change. And since he has not actually debuted yet, why don't we book a segment for him that's specifically for people that have not yet debuted? The debut angle. There's 3 different kinds you can use immediately, fresh from the box. The debut promo, or debut attack if you want to start a new feud immediately. Also, you can unlock later the debut package from our production segments, but you need a higher staff level first, which you'll get over here. We'll get into other videos as well. So the other staff, and you'll see that you've got such things as producers, doctors, scouts, trainers, talent managers, and the facilities that they work in. You'll notice we've got the lowest of all production and scouting and medical, as well as training and talent management facilities right now. I'll have to remind myself to touch on staff more in a future video. Back to booking the weekly show. Enough with the digressions. So let's do the debut angle and have him attack someone. Debut attack featuring Martin Just. Well, Martin is a baby face, so let's have him attack a heel right away and get himself noticed. So a heel in the conflict brand. Who we got that would be suitable for around his level? Pardon me. Let's go with Richard Del Rio. You may be interested to know was Senor Mexico's first apprentice before El Hijo del Mexico. A very tragic backstory. So, debut attack, and let's start a feud with that. Welcome to the conflict brand, Martin Just. And now Martin's going to prove immediately that he's the better wrestler. Will he actually prove that? We don't know. Now, we currently don't have any active feuds, so you cannot activate a feud segment initially, so you'll have to create some feuds. Let's start with our champion Saber, who is on both brands because I've decided to make the World Championship not tied to any specific brand. He's going to come up and do a segment where he, based on his alignment, will do a heat segment, come out, do a little cheap heat, insult the local sports team or what have you. Then the next one, let's do the tag team, Los Banditos, with their limited appearances. This segment will not affect the number of appearances. It's only matches that will lower the number of appearances they have left. So, speaking of Senor Mexico, let's have the Los Banditos feud with their old nemesis, Senor Mexico. Long storied rivalry, those two against Mexico. So, go to what are the options for feuds? There is a fight, promo battle, solo feud promos. Let's start with them meeting in the ring and fighting. Let's start a feud. That feud will be for the title itself. So, new title feud. You notice that the minimum of 4 segments can run on the weekly show. Let's do another segment before I commit to playing. That's a production segment. Now, production segments are a little bit different in that they're usually tied in the quality of the production facility and the production staff that you have. These are the ones that are available right now, and you'll notice that others are unlockable over time. There's a custom segment that you can make as well if you get the full quality facility, which come a lot later. Now, new gimmick package. You'll notice I checked to see if Randy Little was in the conflict brand, and he is not, so I can't do the debut new gimmick production. But we can recap the previous show. What was our best match from that one? I can't remember. I think it was Riley. So let's go to Riley, and the 4-way match from that, we will do a recap of it. And one more, we've got a main event match, so let's boost that with a main event hype package. And maybe one more title feud. We've got T-Bone Jones, the seeding North American champion. And let's put him in a rivalry right now against his old nemesis, Butch the Butcher Hughes. And what feud segment shall we use for that? Let us have them meet backstage and do a stare down. And you can also, if you wish, if they are not assigned to any of the other tasks, you can have the producing staff focus on this and give extra moxie, let's call it. Okay, we've got enough segments to run the show. Let's go. So, as with the monthly show, you can now get prompted to see, are you sure you want to run the show? Because there's no going back unless you quit back to the menu. If you do, and I say yes. And sorry about the throat clearing, but it's just what I do. Now, the first segment, even with the producer focus, our producer actually was not that good and made it worse. But still, 4.25 stars. T-Bone and Butch always put on their A game. And the Staragones segment has gone up in prestige. Now the main event hype package. Doris did a bit better for that and put together something coherent that will make the hype bonus for the actual main event slightly higher. A recap of what happened at Best of the Best. Riley O'Reilly held on to the title through manager interference. Not as good a segment, but got the job done if nothing else. Moving right along. The new feud between Banditos and Mexicanos. That got some good ratings. All the fans are eager to see them go at each other. And Saber comes out, makes fun of the people in the crowd, and that sort of bombed, which is a bit of a downer because you are supposed to be the face of our company, Saber. We expect better from you. Well, that's all right. And now we've got the debut of Martin Just. We're looking forward to see what he will bring to the table. So far, not a lot. And in our main event, the collision of power and paint against skill and finesse. The winner will be Black Belt Lee. Not at all a shock to anyone that have seen them both in the ring. And again, not our best rating ever. Definitely not our best show ever. Let's finish the show. Let's get the final tally of rating for the program itself. Got ourselves 30 more creative points, only a 3.5 star rating for that. Going to the end of the show. Ratings breakdown. Fortunately, we've got the largest fan base in the entire game world right now with 1.31 million, so we're going to get that many people watching us. But you'll notice over 11,000 people turned the channel because this was just a horrible show. So if we keep that up and say our competitors like Martial Arts Strong Style or Big Shot Wrestling, if they keep getting the fans and we keep losing the fans, eventually it's going to lead to our downfall, metaphorically speaking. You can't actually lose a company as of yet, although I'm sure that might be an exciting future feature. Anyway, that's how you book a weekly show in Journey of Wrestling. Thank you again for watching How to JoW. Let's continue back to the dashboard, and that is that. Next thing in line would be doing the WWC Hostile Brands weekly TV show. But that's for another show, or another video. Anyway, goodbye.